So now that you know about the Compass Navigator programming software for PCs, one of five elements of the one of five software components of the Compass Control software suite, let's get into the other software of Compass Control. That is the Compass Control app that's available for iOS or Android. This is the best sales tool that you can get as an integrator, as an AV contractor, pushing Compass Control. The reason why is it has these demos. It has 8 demos. We change them out from time to time. They cover different application types, different looks and feels. Some of them are done with our modular programming method. Others are custom, either from our own programming and our own projects that we're involved in, or through the field where we touch base with some of our master level programmers, or even some first timers that we think, wow, you just did an exceptional job of creating a great GUI. We love what you did. How would you like us to showcase that for the world to see? And so we put them in this demo tab here, this demo folder. They're all there. Now you see that when you choose them, you do need internet connectivity because it pulls them down from the cloud. But then once you have those projects on your iOS or Android device, those demo projects are always there. So you can actually go, even without internet or data connection, have a meeting in the morning with a church client, and then in the afternoon with a bar restaurant application, for example, and have different looks and feels for your proposed GUI for the control system. What else is great about Compass Control is that not only can you demo the demos we provide you, but you can also archive the projects that you yourself have done. You can actually have up to 12 archived projects so that you can use those either as demos, or they can actually be live systems. So if you have a few service calls to attend to and you want to just quick and easily go from Compass Control site number 1 and be on their network and control their system, and then go to Compass Control site 2 and just access that project in the archive, have that one be the active project in your app, and have that be the live project at the time. We've even had people who use the archive as a means of controlling the home and controlling the office, and having, you know, the summer home, vacation home versus the year-round home. So it's really excellent. You got to get the app. Just search Compass Control on the App Store or now in the Google Play Store. And if you'd like to download it directly, you can even go to the KeyDigital's webpage, click Compass Control, and there's even a button for a direct download into your Android devices. Now, again, the app is free, and you can do these great things with it. And then when it comes time to make a live controller, you need to activate your Android device, your iOS device, with a license, KD Pro CL. We sell them in packs of 1, 4, 6, and 8. And what's important is that every controller, iOS or Android, must be activated with a license. There is no such thing as a site license in Compass Control. It is 1 license per device. Now, why is that? We know that some other control systems do it differently. Why do we want to have a different strategy? Well, there's actually technical reasons and business reasons. Technically, you know that every single iOS or Android device, every single smart device is the brain. Recall that from our previous video. So if every smart device is its brain, they could all be different. They could all look different. They could have different access. You could do different things with them. That's a flexibility Compass Control gives you. It comes at a premium, though, of having the need to license each and every controller. Compare that, though, however, to other control systems that maybe there's only 1 site license, for example, but a smart device goes on the network. What happens is it finds a master controller, and then that master controller tells it the information it needs to know about the system, and the GUI is always the same. Compass Control doesn't put you into that box that way. There's a lot more flexibility there. Now, of course, the question for you, the integrator, is, well, what happens if my customer upgrades their phone, if my customer loses the iPad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, the license can be divorced from its existing controller, marriage, if you will. You just need to email tech@keydigital.com with the new device ID that you'd like the license to be married with. So what is a device ID? So you have the license, KD Pro CL, and here you see on the right-hand side of the screen, device ID. This is a unique identifying number for every smart device. Now, one of the great benefits about Android is they actually allow us to automatically generate a device ID in each and every controller. Whereas in iOS, it must be manually generated. There's a few different ways to go about that, and we have information on how to generate those device IDs in the Compass Control tech videos and documents page on KeyDigital.com. And so you see here the device ID, and when we do our programming, you will be able to enter the property of each iOS or Android device, a device ID number. And so that device ID number, when this project goes to the cloud, is checked to ensure that it is verified, right? Because it's a little bit like your driver's license. If you're not 21, you can't get into the bar, right? Or the nightclub. See, so what happens is I do my programming on my PC computer using Compass Navigator, right? When I'm ready to load this into my iPad, it actually goes to a cloud. It goes to the KeyDigital cloud. See, starting with iOS necessitated that Compass Control become very, we had to become very creative. We had to create a means, because iOS doesn't like you to plug in a USB cable and load information into your iPad or iPhone. You cannot do that, right? So what we did was we created a cloud. I'm the programmer. I'm programming on my computer. It actually goes up to the cloud, which I'll explain more in a moment. And then in order to get to the cloud, though, one of the first things we check is, okay, are all of these device IDs in this project, are they licensed? Now, say you're programming a system and it's going to have 10 or 12 iOS and Android devices. That doesn't mean you have to have all of those iOS and Android screens on your computer, on your programming. If they're not activated yet, maybe the customer hasn't bought it or whatever, you don't have to actually do that, have the device ID created just to get to the cloud. You can actually just leave the device ID cell blank and just put in the ones you have that are active. But the ones that are entered, as we showed in that previous screen, must be licensed for the project to get to the cloud. And then on the iPad, we're able to just press a button which says Update Project, and it pulls that project into the iOS device. It says, hey, I'm iOS number 1234556 ABC. What is the latest project in the cloud for me? Because every project goes up and it's stored by name with time stamping, and the iOS device and Android device is able to find the latest project loaded for it to pull down. So we look here at 3 different functions of the Compass Control Cloud. Now, first of all, every company has their own folder that C1 certified staff members have access to. It's a company folder. And so the benefit of that, in scenario 1, we talk about how the iOS device, it makes for a very easy load-in versus trying to load in over a wire or over the network. This is very quick, very easy, and it works well with iOS. Number 2, you could actually share files this way within your organization. So programmer on the left there can post a project to the cloud, and then programmer on the right, the laptop on the right there, needs to access that project in order to update it, or maybe they're taking over the responsibilities for that client of yours, so they're able to download it from the cloud. They just need to have access to that folder. Number 3 is storage. So I can actually post these to the cloud and they'll just be there stored forever in your company folder. In case you ever are transferring computers or something like that, it's a good way to go. So it's very neat to have that company cloud. And again, on the iPad, I'm able to just press the update project button, and that requires the internet when you update project, because of course the iOS device or Android device goes up to the cloud as we depicted in scenario 1 before, and it finds the latest project name for that device ID, and it pulls it down. Now, after you're done downloading that, many Compass systems are just on a local area network. They're not on an internet enabled network, and that is, it just depends on the job site, but the point is you do not need an active internet connection for most Compass control systems. You only really need it when you're posting up to the cloud and pulling down from the cloud your Compass project. So when you do that, it pulls it down, you press the start button, and all of the project information is communicated from the smart device to the master controller. Security information and that kind of thing, because again, the master controller, the brain of each system is the smart device. So it communicates everything and you don't have to load into the master controller. However, in some project cases, you may need to. What are those cases? If you'd like to host scheduled events in the master controller, then you need to load those in. If you want the master controller to be the storage place for variable values, then you have to load the project in. And then finally, although we don't have the handheld remote as an active SKU at this time, we still have many out in the field. And if you program a handheld remote using our model ZRC, Zigbee Remote Control 300, well, that obviously is not an iOS or an Android device, so the master controller is the brain there, and that's another instance where you load from the PC computer into the master controller. So that has to be done over a local area network, and whereas the cloud enables you to load projects, upload projects, pull them down, really without the programmer even being on site. It makes for some very convenient service calls if the customer ever has to change over from brand X to brand Y for their controllable devices. You can make those changes and just post the project to the cloud and give the customer a call if you're confident in that, and tell them to hit the update project button, and voila, a brand new project.